안녕하십니까? 캉스스피치 강병훈입니다. 저는 말듣는 습관을 치유하기 위하여 날마다 5분 이상 말하기 연습하는 영상을 촬영하고 있습니다. 인천 2호선 석바위 시장역 2번 출구 동강숯불 민물장어를 많이 애용해 주세요. 시청자 여러분, 일본의 소설가 무라카미 하루키를 아시지요? 오늘은 무라카미 하루키의 3부작 장편소설 1Q84의 일부분 영어 번역본의 일부분을 낭독하는 시간을 가지겠습니다. Chapter 29. Our mommy. I'll never let go of your hand again. Tango, open your eyes. Our mommy whispered. Tango opened his eyes. Time began to flow again in the world. There's the moon, our mommy said. Tango raised his face and looked up at the sky. The clouds had parted, and above the bare branches of the Zelkova tree he could make out the moons. A large yellow moon and a smaller, misshapen green one, mother and daughter. The glow colored the edges of the passing clouds, like a long skirt whose hem had been accidentally dipped in dye. Tango turned now to look over at our mommy sitting beside him. She was no longer a skinny, undernourished 10-year-old girl, dressed in ill-fitting hand-me-downs, her hair crudely trimmed by her mother. There was little left of the girl she had been, yet Tango knew her at a glance. This was clearly our mommy and no other. Her eyes, brimming with expression, were the same even after 20 years. Strong, unclouded, clear eyes. Eyes that knew exactly what they longed for. Eyes that knew full well what they should see, and weren't going to let anyone get in her way. And those eyes were looking right at him, straight into his heart. Our mommy had spent the last 20 years somewhere unknown to him. During the time, she had grown into a beautiful woman. Instantly and without reservation, Tango absorbed all those places and all that time, and they became a part of his own flesh and blood. They were his places now, his time. I should say something, Tango thought, but no words would come. He moved his lips, just barely, searching for proper words in the air, but they were nowhere to be found. All that came out from between his lips were swirls of white breath, like a wandering, solitary island. As he gazed into his eyes, our mommy gave a slight shake of her head just once. Tango understood what that meant. You don't have to say a thing. She continued to hold his hand inside his pocket. She didn't let go, not even for a moment. We are seeing the same thing, our mommy said quietly as she gazed deep into his eyes. This was, at once, a question and a confirmation. There are two moons, our mommy said. Tango nodded. There are two moons. He didn't say this aloud. For some reason, his voice wouldn't come. He just thought it. Our mommy closed her eyes. She curled up and pressed her cheek against his chest. Her ear was right above his heart. She was listening to his thoughts. I needed to know this, our mommy said. That we are in the same world, seeing the same things. Tango suddenly noticed that the whirling pillar rising up inside him had vanished. All that surrounded him now was a quiet winter night. There were lights on in a few of the windows in the apartment building across the way, hinting at people other than themselves alive in this world. This struck the two of them as exceedingly strange, even as somehow illogical, that other people could also exist and be living their lives in the same world. Tango leaned over slightly and breathed in the fragrance of our mommy's hair. Beautiful, straight hair. Her small, pink ears peeped out like shy little creatures. It was such a long time, our mommy thought. It was such a long time. Tango thought too. At the same time, though, he noticed how the 20 years that had passed now held no substance. It had all passed by in an instant, and took but an instant to be filled in. Our mommy took his hand out of his pocket and put it around her shoulder. Through his palm, he could feel the wholeness of her body. He raised his face and looked up at the moons again. Through breaks in the clouds, the odd pair of moons was still bathing the earth in a strange mix of color. The clouds made their way lazily across the sky. On the red light, Tango once again keenly felt the mind's ability to relative time. 20 years was a long time, but Tango knew that if he were to meet our mommy in another 20 years, he would feel the same way he did now. Even if they were both over 50, he would still feel the same mix of excitement and confusion in her presence. His heart would be filled with the same joy and certainty. Tango kept these thoughts to himself, but he knew that our mommy was listening carefully to these unspoken words. Her little pink ear pressed against his chest. She was hearing everything that went on in his heart, like a person who can trace a map with his fingertip and conjure up vivid, living scenery. I want to stay here forever and forget all about time, our mommy said in a small voice. But there's something the two of us have to do. We have to move on, Tango thought. That's right, we have to move on, our mommy said. The sooner the better. We don't have much time left, though I can't yet put into words where we are going. There's no need for words, Tango thought. Don't you want to know where we're going? Our mommy asked. Tango shook his head. The winds of reality had not extinguished the flame in his heart. There was nothing more significant. We will never be apart, our mommy said. That's more clear than anything. We will never let go of each other's hands again. A new cloud appeared and gradually swallowed up the moons. The shadow enveloping the world grew one shade deeper. We have to hurry, our mommy whispered. The two of them stood up on the slide. Once again, their shadows became one, like children groping their way through a dark forest. They held on tightly onto each other's hand. We're going to leave the cat town, Tango said, speaking aloud for the first time. Our mommy treasured this fresh, newborn voice. The cat town? The town at the mercy of a deep loneliness during the day and calm night of large cats. There's a beautiful river running through it, and an old stone bridge spanning the river. But it's not where we should stay. We call this world by different names, our mommy thought. I call it the year 1Q84, while he calls it the cat town. But it all means the same thing. Our mommy squeezed his hand even tighter. You're right. We are going to leave the cat town now. The two of us together, our mommy said. Once we leave this town, day or night, we will never be apart. As the two of them hurried out of the park, the pair of moons remained hidden behind the slowly moving clouds. The eyes of the moons were covered, and the boy and the girl, hand in hand, made their way out of the forest. 시청자 여러분, 영어 소설을 읽는 것은 새로운 도전이네요. 오늘 영상은 여기까지 하겠습니다. 구독과 좋아요는 저에게 큰 힘이 됩니다. 그럼 시청자 여러분, 우리 다음 시간에 만나요. 안녕.